friends in Flosstube land. Hi, it's me, Sandy. I know I might seem like a new stitcher since I haven't been here in forever, but this is my channel and it's Stitching with Sandy and I'm Sandy. For those of you who just stopped by, I'm a kindergarten teacher, and so I try to combine my stitching, share a little bit about my kinder life, and hopefully inspire you to want to stitch something that I'm doing, or maybe just get started stitching if you're not a stitcher. For those of you who have stuck it out, thanks for coming back. Sorry it's been so long. When I tell you all the things I've done in May, you'll understand why. And those of you that are new, I try to usually come on every 2 weeks, but sometimes my teacher life takes over and then I'm not able to get here as frequent as I'd like. But I have a lot to share with you today. I'm gonna briefly go over the way this particular video is gonna go. I'm gonna treat this like a mid-year WIP parade because I did participate in Mania and I did it as a WIP Mania. So I did my traditional rotation plus my morning stitch. Instead of stitching one project until it finishes, I did a different WIP every day so I could participate in Mania. And while my life was super busy, I still got a lot of stitching done, not much finishing, but I am off for summer break, so I expect to remedy that pretty quickly. So let's get started. So what I'm gonna do today that's different than I normally do. Usually I'll give you my life updates at the beginning, but there's a lot that's happened. So I decided to move it to the end today because I don't want, those of you who are not interested, I don't want you to have to sit through or try to fast forward and find the spot. So I'll put that information at the end and I'll let you know. So if you're not interested in seeing everything I've been up to, you're welcome to move on to the next Flosstube channel. All right, so let me give you a brief idea of what I've been up to. So in the month of May, this is just May, and I know today is June 4th, 2023. So I'm just recuperating from everything. That's why I didn't come on sooner. But in May, I had kindergarten open house. My daughters, one was stage crew person and one was an actress in the play Willy Wonka. They had 4 performances and probably 4 or 5 months worth of practice. It was a lot. Then I turned 50 and that was a very hard thing for me to do. I'm not sure why the number was hard, but this time it was. But that was okay because my stitching group surprised me with a surprise birthday party, and I will tell you all about that at the end. There was Teacher Appreciation Week. There was end of the year assessments. Then there was Mother's Day. I had breakfast in bed with lots of things for my kids. Tell you more about that at the end. Then we did a surprise birthday party for my mother-in-law. She turned 80 and she's been going through a lot. So we decided to surprise her and we really did. Tell you more about that at the end. Then my daughter Cassandra earned the Exceptional Learner Award for the school year from her favorite teacher, so that was exciting. I did report cards. Then we did kindergarten ABC countdown to the end of the school year, which is a different event every single day. Then I had to write the report cards. Then, oh, I already said report cards. Yeah, report cards and more report cards, because when you think you're done, you're really not. And then we had kinder celebration. We don't do a graduation ceremony, but we do a musical celebration and sing to our parents. And then we give them a little congratulations, you finished kindergarten certificate. And then let's see. Then we had 6 days of special end of the year events for our kinders every single day. And then the seniors that were formerly my second graders, the seniors that graduated this year came back to their schools in the senior walk to visit their former teachers and see their old classrooms and school. So we had that. And then I had the last day of school, Sunday ice cream social, and sent off my little pumpkins off to go into 1st grade. And now it's official, I am on summer break, and I cannot tell you how ready I am for summer. I was a little wiped out. So that's a lot. That was all in May. The last day of school was Friday, so that was June 2nd. My oldest son turned 30. That feels weird too. So that's been my whole life in a short little segment. But to hear more about some of the items, I will again share that at the end. I even have a couple of video clips to share with you if you're interested. If not, I'm just so grateful that you're here, and I appreciate you sticking with me even though I haven't been around much. So let's get into it. I have a couple of FFOs, not very many, but I will share with you what I've done. So my first one is the ABC Sampler by Pinker and Pumpkin Quilting. If you're not familiar with her, you can look her up on, you can Google her blog. She has a blog and she makes several patterns. It feels like she makes them every day. Could be every other day, I don't know. She makes a lot of patterns and she gives them away free. It's very sweet and kind of her. And so I picked out a bee stitch from her page and stitched it up, and this is it. It's the bee sampler. And I wanted to make it a larger pillow so it could be kind of in the background of my bee things. So this is how I finished it. I'm really excited about this piece. I love it. It's stitched up really fast. You could stitch this in probably like 1 or 2 days, depending on what you've got going on. So I think I did it in 2 days. So this is my first FFO. My next FFO, if you watched my previous video, you heard me complain about it was the smallest stitching I've ever done. If you haven't, I'm gonna show you, it's tiny. But this is BrendaGervais Coffee first. I did finish it in a teeny tiny pillow. And for reference, here's my hand. You can see it's super tiny. I ended up ruching with fabric, and I've never ruched with fabric before, but I had this really pretty coffee fabric, so I decided to go ahead and ruche with that. And ruching with fabric is super easy. If you want a tutorial for ruching, Pfeiffer has a great one for 3 different ways to ruche, and I usually use ribbon, but I did try fabric and it works just as well as the others. So this is super tiny. I stitched this on coffee tea dyed Monaco, which I also stitched this one on coffee tea dyed Monaco, all done by me. It wasn't in a bag or box or anything. And then it's 28 count, and when I cooked it to set the color, it shrinks it, so it's super tiny, and I stitched 1 over 1, which is why it's so small. But I did want this little tiny pillow to put in my tier tray for the time during the year that I don't have a holiday that I'm decorating for. That way I can put it all with all my coffee items next to my coffee pot. So I love how it turned out. It's super cute. I'll never stitch something that tiny again, but I'm glad I can say I did it. So if someone says you can't do something, prove them wrong, because you can do it. It might not be easy, you might not love it, but you can do it. All right, so the next one is Strawberry Fair. I did this with the Strawberry Fair Sal that Helen D put on, and I finally was able to finish it. I had this really pretty fabric that my friend Gina gave to me, and so I finished it with that. I thought the colors went well with this piece, and then I had a little bit of this trim that I picked up at, I think, Hobby Lobby. It's not really chenille, it's something else, kind of like a cording feel, but it's a little softer than that as my trim. So I'm glad that's finished. I didn't get to the Honey Fair yet, but it's in my stash. And then finally yesterday, because I was so excited about summer starting, I had seen a post from my friend Holly Jones, and she is Mrs. Jones Stitches here on Flosstube, and she's also on Instagram, and most people know who she is. Her mom makes glorious, beautiful bags, so project bags if you're interested. But so she had made a post of this item and said she got the directions from Team Egner, which she is also on Instagram. And so I went to her Instagram page, and it said in her story she had the directions of how she made the pillow. And so I looked it up. It's just a short paragraph, so if you're interested, go to her page on Instagram, click on stories, and look for the flag pillow, and then underneath it will give you the directions and measurements. And so that's exactly what I did. I'm not a quilter, I'm still beginning, beginning. And so I just followed the directions, and this is what I came up with. I'm really proud of it. These buttons, I have this ginormous button box that my grandmother had for years in her back bedroom. And when my grandmother passed away, my mom was going through things. She had taken some of my grandmother's things and put them in her back bedroom. No one ever asked me about anything. So by the time my mom had passed away and I got to the stuff, all that was left is what I ended up getting if I wanted it. And I found my grandma's button box, and I'm always amazed. I took some to school so the students can play with the different types of buttons, and then I have some at home. And so when I saw this and she had vintage buttons on there, I was like, oh, I'm gonna use some of my grandma's. So now I don't have them in a back bedroom. I don't have them in a box. I can put them on display. So I'm really excited about this pillow, and it turned out well. I didn't have too much trouble. It did take me a while to make because there's so many steps, and I wanted to quilt the flag part, so that took a little bit of time, and then adding the trim, the different lace trims on there, that took a little bit of time, and then definitely sewing all these buttons on took a long time. But that time is so well worth it when you can have this sitting on display. So next month, this will be out in my display, and I can be so proud about looking at it as I walk through my house. So I was very excited about that. So that's all my FFOs. Now the rest is all WIPs. That's why I'm sitting in a different location. I'm in my formal dining room. It's a table that seats 9, but I needed it because I guess you could actually seat 10. But I needed the table space because there's too many WIPs here. So I'm gonna go through them. I will show you what I've done. If it was a brand new start, there's a couple new starts in here, and I'll explain that too. But I did want to share them with you. So get some coffee or juice or a cocktail, whatever your beverage choice is. Sit back, get your stitching. This is a lot. Hope you enjoy it, and I hope to finish a lot of these over the summer break. So let's start. So my first one is, this one was in my WIP pile, and I just moved it into my 2-day rotation. This is because it had been in there for a while, and this one I was really excited about. So it is Maria Selby Humphrey by Blackbird Designs. This sampler, when I saw the last name Humphrey, that's my maiden name, and I wondered if it could possibly be a family member in our history. So I took the information from here, which is not a lot. They only knew who her parents were and about where she lived, and then how old she was when she stitched this. And so I asked my dad, and we have family members that research all of our history, and my dad said that definitely the name of the father is somebody in our family and was actually in that location. So they're almost 100%, probably like 99.9% sure that we are related to them. So when I first saw Humphrey, it drew me to this pattern just because of the maiden name. It also talks about education, and since I'm a teacher, that drew me to it. But now knowing that this could have been one of my ancestors makes it even more, I have to stitch. So it had been in my WIP parade. I had started it, I think for the 12 by 12, and then it sat in my WIP box or basket because I had pulled 15 projects, and this was not one of them for my rotation. And if you're not familiar with my rotation, I have 15 projects. I stitch over 2 days each one, and then if I finish it, I replace it with a new one, and each one's themed out. I have 2 spaces for each season, and then I have things for sals, spaces for everyday stitches, and a space for a Christmas ornament, and a space for a magazine or hardcover book start, so I can work through those. So this one just made it in because I had some finishes, and so this one took the place of everyday stitch, and the coffee first was my last everyday stitch. So here is my progress. So when I started it, I literally just had this little piece of the border done. So over the 2 days, I was able to stitch all the way across to the center, do the center motif at the top of the border, and next time I pick it up, I'll finish over this way, and then I can start to move downwards. So I got a lot done. I'm really excited about it. This is stitched on, I believe this is 28 count, let me see. No, I'm sorry, 32 count bone Joblin is what it is. So it has a pink hue to it. And I really do love this. See if I can show you the pattern up a little closer. I think, here we go. Here it is. So as you can see, I just stitched this part, so I'll finish this and I'll start coming down and doing the alphabets. And hopefully mine will be a little brighter in real life. So there's that. So that was my 2-day stitch. So that I didn't stitch for Mania. That was just my regular rotation. And then just put away. I'm gonna take the time to zip each one just because there's a lot here and I don't want them to get mixed up or lose any pieces from them. All right, next up is, this was a WIP. So that I worked on it only one morning, but I love this piece so much that I'm looking forward to getting back to it. That's the thing about the WIP, doing Stitch Mania, is I pulled out different WIPs. I worked on a different one each day, and then you start working on it, and you're like, oh my gosh, why am I not working on this? I love it so much. So that just confirmed that the basket of WIPs are still projects that I simply love, and that's good because then I'll keep stitching them. All right, and so this one is Away We Ride by Blackbird Designs. I worked on this a little bit last year. I'm trying to think, at our SoCal Stitchers retreat, I had stitched just this corner. So on my 2 days, I was able to continue this, and I started the inside border because my hope is that I'll work this way. And I always stitch at the bottom of my fabric because, oh, my needle's holding it close. I always stitch at the bottom corner, would be my bottom right corner, and I always work my way up. So I'm hoping to work diagonally so that way I could start working on motifs and things. So I'm really happy about that. I love this pattern so much. The border's simply gorgeous, and I love ravens and crows, so I'm excited to get that one going. So that was just Mania. Then next, I am stitching, this was a project that a friend of mine loaned me her pattern for, she loaned me her pattern for Hawk Run Hollow's, I think it's their village. Anyways, it's the schoolhouse. So let's see what, the village of Hawk Run Hollow, by Carriage House Samplings. And I'm not seeing, I just have my working pattern. I don't have the original with me. I set that somewhere else so it wouldn't get ruined since she loaned it to me. But I'm working on the schoolhouse because I want to do it as a teacher. I finished, this was a part of my morning stitch. So I finished the schoolhouse. It's finally done. So now I just need the background. And the one thing I am doing for this, since I'm making it one block, is I am going to, instead of, they have, I believe, Hawk Run Hollow, let me see, I'll tell you. I just can't show you the pattern. It says Hawk Run Schoolhouse, and then it says ABC 1, 2, 3. So I'm not gonna do that. Instead, I'm gonna use a freebie alphabet pattern that I found, and I am going to stitch all the way across the top the alphabet. I might do A through, let's see, A through M or N, or maybe A through L, and then M through Z at the bottom. Not really sure. I haven't mapped it all out yet, but I do know I have enough room on my fabric to do that. And the only thing left on this pattern to stitch is the actual background with the little kids and a couple of trees. So not far from being finished on that one. And then I have to confess though, even though you're gonna see a zillion patterns, The truth is there was a couple weeks that if I got in 5 stitches, 5, that's all I got done. We came home so wiped out and exhausted from so many events that I don't know how I got through May. Honestly, I don't. All right, so the next piece is one I'm stitching for my daughter, Cassandra. She absolutely loves cats. And I had stitched a piece for her sister who loves dogs. And so I had her pick out a pattern of cats and I'm working on it. So this was a Mania piece too. And this is hands-on design meow block. And when I started it, all I had were the fish across the bottom. So I did the first picture of cats. And I was able to complete that. So the next round I come around, I'll do another side. So this would be actually one side of the block. And that is stitched on 28 count coffee tea dye Monaco. You'll see a lot of projects on that because I love that color. I think it's beautiful. All right, next up is, this was a sunflower sampler by It's So Emma. When Fat Quarter Shop was doing a sunflower stitch along. This was the pattern that I purchased, and then each week you got a different section of it until we got the whole complete thing. I got it and then I ran out of time to stitch on it, so I put it away. So I got it out. I had already had the top row of the alphabet. So this time I finished these 2 sunflowers and then started going down the sides. And this is on 28 count Sage Lugana. I love that color. It's the prettiest green. It has a tint of, kind of looks kind of gray in some lights, but I just think it's so pretty. It's a perfect green background for your pieces that's not too strong, but gives you that green color. And I just love it. All right. That was a Mania stitch. So far you've seen 4 Mania stitches. No, 3 Mania stitches and 1 rotation stitch. They're not in order because I just grabbed them. All right, so another piece that I bought from Fat Quarter Shop. This was another Mania stitch and is Sleigh Ride by It's So Emma. When this one came out, I just thought it was so adorable. And so I bought the fabric, and the fabric's 32 count Mint Splash Lugana by Zweigart. And I just thought that was so pretty. But then I bought it, and then by the time it came in the mail, Christmas was over. So I didn't do any more on it. I just literally did snow when I first started it. And this is all the snow I did. And so this time on my 2-day rotation, I started building up. This is supposed to be the white tree and the green tree, and then I completed the house. So I don't have I haven't gotten very far on it, but it is a very cute stitch. And I know that when I actually spend more time on it, it will go fast. All right, so that was a Mania stitch. Next up, this one is another Mania stitch from my WIP pile. I stitched, let me find it. It's in the Punch Needle and Primitive magazine. And this one is issue, as soon as I find it, I'll show you. Hold on. There we go. This is the magazine 2021 summer issue, Punch Needle and Primitive. And the piece that I'm stitching is Buffalo Plaid Summer by Stitching with the Housewives. I love that. And I think it'll be so cute. So when I picked it up, all I had was the little bee scap. So I did all the bees, and then I did one of the sunflowers. And when I got it, it's funny, I got it out and I was like, oh, I really wish I had it on display with all my bee stuff right now. But at least it'll be finished by next year, I'm assuming. I pretty much think I will get to a lot of these this summer. If you haven't been with me very long, I'm a pretty quick stitcher, and when I have the free time to focus on things, a lot more things get done. So hopefully I'll be able to finish some of these. Some of them are huge. I don't know if I'll finish them, but I can try. Now this was in my rotation. This is a piece that I did at Autumn Gatherings French Stitch, and it's called Let Joy In, Autumn Gatherings Let Joy In. This is the pattern. I absolutely love it. I love the different crows in it. It's so beautiful. So when I started working on this before my rotation, I had completed this house and this little motif with the crows and this little motif with the crows. So I worked on it from pumpkins all the way over to the house. So the bottom row in this is complete. Let me show you. I'm really excited that it's complete. This is stitched on 14 count vintage country mocha. It's what was called for when I signed up for the kit. And here it is. So I'm excited. The bottom row's done. I have to do a little bit more on the border and come up the side, and then I can start across the top. And I love it. It's the perfect autumn piece. It's so pretty. And it's funny, when we did the French stitch, we didn't work on it that day. We worked on a couple other pieces, and so I had put it away and forgotten about it. And so when I started looking for my rotations and something that was autumn, I found this and it was like, I definitely have to do that. All right, next up. And Friend Stitch is by Bent Creek and Heart and Hand. I'm sorry, I should have said that. All right, this was in my rotation, and it is Jardin-Gervais, and I think it's called Rabbit in My Garden. I believe that's what it says in translation. And I'm stitching this on, it's a white pink splash, 32 count Lugana. And here's where I'm at. So my goal when I stitched this those 2 days was to get this tree in so I could start putting the leaves and blossoms on it. And then that way the rest is like swirls in the sky, and then the snail and a leaf and a couple of flowers, and then I'll actually be finished. I love this one so much. She has a couple other snow globe type patterns, but they're like, I think one's like Little Red Riding Hood, but I'm hoping that I'm hoping this was like a spring themed one. Maybe she'll come out with a summer themed one. I'm hoping, we'll see. If she does, I will definitely be buying them. All right, this was a piece I started a while ago. This was in my WIP, so it was a Mania Stitch. I think I started it last summer, and then I put it away. I was going to do it for my husband and I's anniversary. Our anniversary's December 10th, and I was hoping to do it, and I don't know what happened. Maybe Christmas got in the way. I don't really know. I didn't finish it, so bad wife. I can hopefully get it done by this year. We'll see. And the pattern is by Lizzie Kate, and it's called A Good Marriage. My friend Kathy stitched this whole thing already. In fact, she was stitching it when I started stitching it, and I think she had like this much done when I started, and then she finished it so quickly and already had it framed and gifted. So I'm really far behind, but this is what I've gotten. I've changed a few colors in it because I picked, my husband and I went shopping together, and I had him pick out, his favorite color is purple, so he picked out the purple that he liked, and I had him pick out a blue. And then I picked out the greens and the reds because those are my favorite colors. And I thought this way it'll be a collaboration of our two favorites. And I'm sorry I didn't iron. There's a lot of patterns here. I didn't iron anything. I do apologize. And that one's stitched on 28 count mushroom Lugana. Sorry, I sometimes forget to say those things. All right, now this is my hardcover book project. I've been trying to pull out things from magazines and hardcovers that have just been collecting dust in my garage, work on a couple of pieces that I like, and then that way I could pass it on so that it's not just collecting. So what I'm working on is, I'm gonna change it a little bit to suit my daughters, but I'm doing Mary Engelbright, and I'm actually doing this one and it's called, hold on, let me get the exact name for you in case you're interested. It is called Best Wishes Sampler. And my daughters, when they were little, having twin daughters, so much fun. And when they were little, we used to go tell them, oh, there's a wishing flower. And they would go pick the dandelions and blow the seeds and make wishes. And they did this like all the time, like whenever they found one, they would do it. So they made a lot of wishes. I don't know if they all came true, but they made a bunch of them. So what I wanted to do is I'm gonna change their hair color to be like my daughters, and then I'm gonna change their clothing colors to their favorite colors at that time in their life. So right now, because it's old school stitching, and if you remember old school stitching used a lot of color changes and a lot of back stitching, so it's gonna take me a really long time. But this is my progress so far. So I've already done the first half of it, so I need to do the other half now of the bottom, and then I can start working up. And I'm trying to do the back stitching as I go, so that way it won't feel like, oh, I did all that work and now I've got to go back and back stitch it all. This way when I'm done, I'm actually done. And I'm stitching on a 14 count blue, a light blue Aida. I figured I'll do Aida because the rest of it's hard with all the color changes and back stitching. I might as well make the actual stitches easy. So that's why I chose to do Aida. All right, next up, and that's in my rotation, not a Mania piece. All right, this is also in my rotation. I am stitching, I'm gonna show you my working copy. Whenever I borrow patterns from my friends, I make a working copy and I put their nice clean pattern in a safe spot, so when I pass it back to them, nothing happens to it. And when you're as clumsy as I am, lots can happen. So I go through a lot of working copies with spilled coffee, spilled water. I didn't want to spill it on my friend's pattern. So I am doing Summer School. I'm on lesson 1 by BrendaGervais. Here is my working copy picture so you can see it. This is the one I'm working on. This one I'm doing on 28 count Lugana, and I'm doing it all over one. Much easier than that Monaco piece. And I'm not far from being done with this one. Here it is. All I have is the rest of the house right here, and then a little border that goes up, and then to fill in this branch and put a couple letters. So I'm not too far, and then I'll be able to FFO it. I might wait and FFO all 4 pillows at once, so that I have the same fabric in the back, but I plan on stitching all 4. And I have a really, really beautiful piece to use in my finishing. So when I'm all done, I'll be able to share that with you. I love this. And the fabric color is natural. All right, this was a Mania piece. And I have to say this was one I didn't get too far on that day. I think I came home and put in a few stitches and then I passed out. I was so tired that day. So that's okay. Next time I get to it, I'll get more. And it is February Calendar Crates by Stitching with the Housewives. And I'm working on the big one. And all I did that day, literally, was that part of the jar. And that's it. It wasn't much. It's almost not even much for sharing, but I guess I have guilt for not working every single day. So I have to show every little bit that I did because it all counts. And I know that if you're a busy person, you know that every stitch counts too. All right, then next, I am working on, I'm working on the Drawn Thread Sunnyside Sampler. I love this piece. There are a ton of sunflowers in it, which are my favorite. And originally I was going to be doing this stitch along with my friend PJ, but after we realized after I had sorted out how many colors floss there was, I think it overwhelmed her. and she decided she wasn't going to do it after all. So I'm going solo, and that's okay. I really do love it. And I'm starting, now I'm not part of that SAL. There's this group of ladies that are stitching it and trying to get it done by StitchCon. I'm not, or not StitchCon, Stitch West. I'm not part of that group. So I think they're starting from this side and working this way. I'm, of course, doing the opposite. I think I always have to be different. So here is my progress. I love this piece. Every time you finish a building, it feels so accomplished. So, and then I'm stitching it on 14 count fabric flare. Where's the color? I'm trying to see. I know I have the paper in here that tells what color I'm using. And of course, now that I'm trying to show you, oh, here, it's on the fabric, huh? It is called Waxing Moon Dyed Effect. I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of hard. The lighting in here is not that great. We did have a lot of sun earlier, and then now it's not even noon yet, and it's fading in and out. So I have to say I'm not complaining though, because I live in Southern California, and the area that I live in is desert area and desert climate. And so in the summers usually gets up to 108. That's like an average. And then, but it can get all the way up to 117 sometimes. And last year it was hot from March. We had 90s weather in March, and then it got to 100 weather by the end of April, and it was over 100 degrees, like all the way through. I don't even think it started cooling off until the very end of November this year. So having a cooler summer right now sounds pleasant to me. All right, so this is a new start. It was in, I'm gonna take it off the Q-snap. I'm not sure why I didn't do that. Must have been a tired morning. It was in my box of whips, and the reason why is because if you watched my opener, you'll see that I had done a bunch of those matching Primrose Cottage stitches bee patterns. Well, I had all of them done on this fabric, and it's I don't remember the name of it at this moment. It was a fabric flare that I got for being in the club for Fat Quarter Shop, 14 count fabric flare, and they're like bee or honeycombs, so you can see honeycombs. So when I stitched my other pieces, I stitched them on it, and since they were all matching pieces, I wanted to stitch this one too. So the pattern I'm talking about is Bumblebee Kisses by Primrose Cottage. It's the last one out of the group of patterns that I needed to finish, and so I had it in my whip box knowing that I wanted to do it, but it really was a new start. But I'm almost done. I stitched this in the 2 days, or not 2 days, in the morning. I stitched in the morning 2 days in a row is what I should say for Mania. And so I just have that little bit left. So that'll be done pretty soon, and I can finish it up. My hope is that any bee patterns that I have in my whips will be done this summer, so that next year I can have them all on display. All right, next. All right, let's see, what am I? Oh, this one. Okay, so I wanted to do, I had a really bad urge to do, what's the finished one? Oh, there it is. I had a really bad urge to do Americana, and it's probably from watching everybody else. Sometimes I see everybody else's and I'm like, oh, I want to do that too. I want to do that too. And then I'm like a squirrel and I switch to new projects. So I did that. And what I decided to do is I wanted to watch the Queen Charlotte from Bridgerton. And so I decided to binge watch it and then work on some of my Mania and then work on an Americana piece. So I chose a really small one, so that way I don't get caught up in it and it's piled in with all these whips. And I was able to finish one of them, but not the back. So this is for a scissor fob. This is a Shepherd's Bush scissors fob, and it's called Glory. It was a kit that I believe I either got this from my friend Gina when she was going through things she was getting rid of, or I picked it up off of the freebie table last year at our retreat. So I picked this up. I knew it'd be a fast stitch. I could count it as Mania for the day. And I'm stitching it on a white 18 count because it's supposed to be a scissors fob. And I finished one side, which is long, may she wave. So I've got that one done. So now I just need to do the little lady that's carrying the flag. It's right there. And then I can make a scissors fob with that. So I should be done with that pretty quick. Then I can pass it on. It'll definitely be done in time for next month. All right, next up is, this is part of my rotation. Here is it is Strawberry Blossoms by Kathy Barrick. And I made changes to mine. I don't want blue strawberries, that's for sure. And two, since green's my favorite color, I changed all the blues to green. And then I thought that her face was too pale for her skin, for her shoulders, and for her face. So I changed that too. So she has green eyes like I do instead of blue eyes. And I'm stitching this on Picture This Plus Serene, 14 count. And here she is. So I finally finished her. I just have one more sleeve and then she's completely done. I was able to start the strawberry vine going up. So all I have left is to finish the heart and the words on this side. So I think she's coming along lovely. I love my changes to her. This pattern I saw when I was at my friend's house. She had it completely finished, hanging up on her wall. And these curls, when I was younger, I had really super duper curly hair. Like the kind where you go to the hair salon and they cut it wrong because they would cut a V. Never understood that. They would cut a V and then my sides would pop up like Bozo the Clown, and then I'd have a little curl just in the center of my back. It was the weirdest thing. And they did it every single time I went to get a haircut. And I think it just came down to they didn't know how to cut curly hair. But I used to hate it because when we get weird weather in the summertime, it frizz up. If I went to get a haircut, it would be fluffy like that. I didn't like it, but that one reminded me of me. So I decided I wanted to stitch it and I asked if I could borrow her pattern. And of course she was so kind enough to loan it to me. So that was a rotation piece. This is a WIP that I did for Mania. Last year, it was my last year's birthday start, which is when I realized if I do a birthday start, it shouldn't be big, it should be little, so that I can get it finished. And I love this pattern. It's by Lila Studios, Nevermore. And I love this so very much. It was in my 12 by 12. And I'm stitching it on Hazy Gray Dyed Effect on Fabric Flare. And I have almost finished the bottom row of the design. I think I just have to get, I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3. So I have 4.5 left. So one more here, 1.5 more of this motif right here to be done with the bottom. And so I was happy about that because I stitched it in the 12 by 12, and at the end of 12 by 12, it was a piddly start. It was literally just half of this, and I hadn't picked it up yet. So this time I focused really hard over the morning when I was working on it. I got in a rhythm and I was able to move quickly across it. So I don't know why I wasn't in the rhythm then, although I did host a Zoom that night and we were chatting a lot, so that's probably why. Sometimes when you chat, you just don't get all your stitching done like you would if you weren't talking. And then, so that was a Mania start. And then next up, this was a Mania, not a Mania start, it was a Mania WIP. This is a Mania WIP too. This one, I'm stitching Prairie House Schooler February, and I'm doing the big piece. I love this piece because as a teacher, we celebrate Groundhog Day, we celebrate Abraham Lincoln, we celebrate George Washington, we celebrate Valentine's Day. That's a busy month for celebrations in kindergarten. We also celebrate sometimes, depending on where it falls, but the 100th day of school. So a lot of celebrating going on in February for such a short month. All right, so this one I'm stitching. Here's where I'm at. This is all full coverage right here. So it took me a little while to get that part done. But I was able to, in the morning, I was able to fill in the log cabin. It was just outlined. So I filled it in. I finished this tree and I finished this tree and I started working up on this tree. So I love this one. It's so pretty. I'm not sure what it's called, but it's one of those spotted ones. I know it's a fabric flare. I was in the club for like a year and I got a bunch of them. Oh, here it is. It'll tell you. It's called French Polka Dot Neutral by Fabric Flare. So I was in the club, but I stopped that because I switched to a Lugana club. And so I decided I didn't need any more Ada. I have a lot. And my daughter stitches on Ada, so I'm giving her a lot of it too. All right, next up. I'm a Patreon on Teresa Kogut Patreon, and so I pulled this out as a Mania, and it's Strawberry Delight. I started it last year when it was first released, and it was released in April of last year. And here's my progress. And when I got it out for Mania, I had to get I worked on these leaves, this leaf, this leaf, this leaf. I worked on these flowers and I worked across the bottom. So moving along on that one. Hopefully have that one done by the end of this month is my hope, because I will be putting up all my strawberry stuff today and taking down all my bee stuff. So hopefully I can finish that and add it to the pile. Next up, Mania piece. I'm working on Advice from a Sunflower by Annie B's Folk Art. And this is the pattern. I love this so much. And I finished the word high. The pattern says, if you didn't see it, it says, rise and shine and hold your head high. And when I pulled it out that morning, I had the H and this part of the green stalk of the sunflower. That was all I had. So I finished up the word high, the G-I-H, and then I started the little motif over here. I love that piece so much. It's so pretty. All right. Can you believe I have so many whips? This is crazy. All right, and then, as I told you earlier from my bee sampler pattern, Pinker and Pumpkin, she has all kinds of patterns and that she's created. And she did a spring, no, this is the autumn one. She did an autumn, I'm trying to see, I'm gonna show you really quickly because you can go to her page and get it, but it was an autumn sampler piece. So I'm gonna hold up the border so you can see it. This is it, okay? And so what I decided was, she has a lot of crows and sunflowers. So what I decided to do was use her border, adapt it, and put in a collection of different sunflower and crow patterns. So the first one that I'm working on is called the Old Crow Salt Box House. And so this is where I'm at. And so there's a salt box house here, and then there's another set of sunflowers here. So on my 2-day rotation, I stitched this part. So you can see it's not as small of a square as on our pattern, because this is going to be my large motif. And then I'm going to go up the side and across the top and do a bunch of small crow and sunflower patterns to go with it. And I'm excited because when I do finish it, I'll be able to email her a picture of it and thank her so much for what she gives to us. It's so kind of her. All right, next up. Now PJ, you're gonna be laughing if you're watching PJ, because PJ and I were working on the home where the wreath is by Stitching with the Housewives. And we both started at the same time, and PJ changed her colors to like a denim blue color, I think. I'm not sure the exact color, but it's really pretty. And she's doing it, I think, on a gray fabric. And so we both started. So I knew this was gonna be on taking. So what I did was I used white sulky for the letters, and then I used Classic Colorworks Steamed Broccoli, I believe, for the wreath. And then there's some sulky in there too. So I stitched these like simultaneously. Did a strand of white, did a strand of green, went back and forth. And so I was able to get both of those finished. Okay, and here they are. And then PJ was stitching on hers, and she'd been working on it for a long time. And I think she started on the E. I don't remember. I don't know. She might have done maybe she was just working on the letters and she hadn't got to the wreath yet. But she got burned out on it too. And so we put them away. So in Mania started, so I've done the H, I've done the O, which means I'm on to the M. So I did start the M in that morning stitch. So I'm hoping to, now that Mania is over, to move this into my morning stitch and just do like a little bit each day. Even if I just do one strand a day or 1 hour, either way, that'll be progress, and hopefully I'll finally finish it so I can start doing all of the inside circles, because I did buy all of those. I love the idea. We have a walk-through over here that has a big strip of wall at the top, and I thought that would be so pretty to display it there if I could just get it done. I know once the letters are done, the centers will go fast. I'm not worried about those. All right, so next Mania stitch is this one by Little House Needleworks. It's called Little Miss Sunflower. I love this one. This was a new start for 12 by 12, and I hadn't gotten back to it. It's not been in my rotation, so getting it out for Mania was perfect because I got some stitching in, and I'm working on the house, and here's where I'm at. So I've got the one sunflower done, I've got the border. This is another sunflower, so I don't have much of the house left to do. And then once I get that part done, I can move over and add her, and then I should be finished. That's on 28 count Monaco Coffee Tea Dye by me. I'm gonna do some dyeing fabric this summer. Are you? I'm not sure which way I'm gonna do it. I've learned a couple different ways, but I want to explore with color this summer, and I think I'm gonna try some different colors I've never done before. All right, this is a Mania Stitch 2. It is a Carriage House Samplings called the Willow Tree Sampler, and I love willow trees and I love crows, so this had a good combination of them both. And here is my progress. I love it. It's so pretty. I've got one branch finished, and I've started bringing the border down, and I've got 2 crows done. And I feel really good about that. This is stitched on, I'm trying to see, did I save the name of the fabric? I think it's Sage Lugana too. I think that's what it is. It might be the other half from my sunflower piece. All right, next. All right, this was a new start in my rotation. It was was it Ornament Start? It was an Ornament Start, but I'm not really stitching an ornament, but it is from the Cross Stitch Halloween magazine issue, and this is from Halloween 2022. And I'm doing this one right here. And let's see if I can find it quickly. If I can't, I'll just show you where I'm at, because I don't want to take too much time flipping through. Oh, here it is. Here we go. It's called Raven Moon. I love it. I think the moon is gorgeous, but I think it could be even prettier. And so what I decided is I really want that moon to pop. So I am stitching it on a piece of Monaco that I dyed last summer. This has got denim blue in it, Rit dyed denim blue, and purple. And I got, on the morning stitch, I got part of the branches done. So I think if you can see it, let me pull the fabric all the way up. I think the moon will really pop on here. And the black shows up just as well. So I think it'll be beautiful when it's done. I know it's not an ornament, but I'm going to frame it up and put it out at Halloween. I love it. It's so pretty. So that would be a magazine stitch that I'm working on. Then it's like never ending, this bag. Okay, so that was my magazine stitch. My ornament stitch is this one. So I went to Jingle Ball last year, and Stephanie Webb from Lindy Stitches is in charge of creating the event, and then she invites lots of designers to join, and I had a blast. And one of the things we had gotten this book. You ordered the book from the Jingle Ball, and it has like an ornament design by each designer that was present. And I love this book so much, but I am stitching. I also bought this and the finishing kit for it, and it's a hands-on design. And so in this book, you can see she has a Santa. So I bought the kit for this, and the floss in this also does that pattern. So that's why I have them housed together, and my plan is to do all of them. But right now I am working on this one, Joy. And here is my progress. It is quite the fast stitch, I have to say. I love it. It's so pretty. And I just have one more house and the word Joy, and then I'll be done with that one already, and I can move on to the next one. So it's called Oh Christmas 3. I'm sorry, I don't think I said that. Oh Christmas 3. And I don't know if she's released them yet. I do know that she said this year was going to be a year of Christmas releases, ornament releases, Christmas patterns. I haven't seen her advertise it yet, but I know it's coming. So if you like it and didn't go to Jingle Ball or didn't buy it, it's coming, and then you'll be able to get that piece. All right, so next up in my rotation, I am working on Autumn Love by Lori Holt. Here is the pattern. I've changed it up a little bit. Anywhere you see these bright blues, I took those out and I switched them for some greens, because I don't have that blue in my decor, so I didn't want it. And I am stitching it on 25 count Lugana in the color Barley. And I started this at our stitch retreat last year, and my goal is to have it done before September in our next one. So what I've been doing is, it's in a 2-day rotation. So I've been trying to get 2 blocks or 1 giant block done in the 2-day rotation. So I did that this time. So last time was this one. This time I was able to get both of these finished. So now I'm at the top of my pattern and I can go across. And I'm not sure if I'm gonna go across or if I'm gonna start going on the inside. It's kind of fun because the outside, you know, I can say, oh, my goal is 2 small boxes or 1 big box. And then when I get there, I'm like, yay, I did it, I met that goal. But as you can see in the center, It's not a block, it's a big block. So I might on the next time start here and do some of these little motifs, little quilt stars, just so I can start working inwards too. I don't want to get to the house and only have a house and be like, oh, I don't want to do it. Do you ever feel that way when you get on something? I think I've discovered about myself is that I like changing colors. It keeps me busy, keeps my mind thinking. I know a lot of people like to do just fill-ins, but I think I only like doing fill-ins if I'm talking. Otherwise, I need lots of color changes. All right, so next up, this is a Sal I'm stitching with Sarah from Sarah Stitches. And we are doing Santa Socks here by BrendaGervais. Sorry about the glare. I'm trying to get, oh, there we go. And Sarah is working on the house, and she started here as working down. I started here and working up. So here is where I've gotten. I love it. It's so cute. I want to start the snowman, and he's like right here. I love these colors, and this is on Mint Splash. I love these colors so very much. And it's fun to see, like when you're stitching with your friend, what color they chose to do the background, what color Brenda chose as for her design, and then what you did. It's fun to see it 3 different ways that way. And so that's my rotation. In fact, I think that one's my rotation for tonight. I gotta look it up, I'm not sure. All right, and then this one is now in my rotation. It just started in my rotation, and it is called Spring 2018 by Sarah, and I love this pattern. The photo on here is not very pretty, but I'm stitching it on the 28 count bone Lugana, no, Joblin, and when I took it out before the rotation, I just had the little bunny completed. And now I'm gonna try to get one house each time I do it. So I was able to get this house done. Now I just need to do, there's like a little background hill with a bridge on it and a couple of kids playing. And then that motif will be done. But I love this, it's so pretty. I think it'll be really pretty like on your mantle during spring as like a really nice scenery. I think I have a winter one and a summer one too. I don't think I bought the fall one. I'll have to look. I think they're very pretty though, but definitely very big and very time consuming. But will be worth it. All right, next up, I'm doing a Sal with Nancy Hauber of the Bougie Stitchers. And we have been working on this piece by Puntini. We picked it out last year to do. I am stitching mine. This is the pattern, sorry. It's called Happy Halloween. And I am stitching mine on a piece of fabric flare, again, 14 count Aida, and it is called Stormy Gray Dyed Effects. This is what the fabric looks like. That's my leftover piece. You get a really nice, I have to say, the one thing about Fat Quarter Shop is if you're in their clubs, you get a really good size piece of fabric when you're in their club. I'm able to do more than one project on it, but I did a lot on this one, and I sent Nancy my update. Her and I send updates as we go. We both didn't make it for Halloween this last year, so we said, that's okay, we're early for next year. So we're still early. And this is my progress. So I was able to work on this side. I'm coming up here. I started this little top, and I just have the one next to it, and that's it as far as the house goes. And then over here I have the moon and a witch to do, and then I'll be done. And I love this piece. When we picked it, we had decided we wanted to pick a designer we hadn't stitched yet. And when we were going through the designers that we hadn't stitched, we narrowed it down to Barbara Anna and Puntini. So she picked the designers, and neither one of us had stitched it, and then I was supposed to go on and pick different patterns that I liked, and then gave her samples of them, and then she picked which one she liked, and then we bought the same pattern and stitched it, and then I made these project bags for both of us because I wanted to gift her something for doing the stitch along with me. So, and I know orange is her favorite color. So hopefully that one will get done soon too. And then this one is a new start. So for Mania, let me pull it out here. I had dyed a really big piece of Monaco. I think I did it last year. And I think this is evening blue. So here it is. This is a big piece. And I dyed it evening blue. I'm kind of sad because you used to could go to Hobby Lobby and you could get a really big piece of white Monaco, and then I would come home and then I would dye it, or coffee tea dye, and I would have a lot for a lot of patterns. And now they discontinued that, and now if I want a piece of Monaco, I can't get quite as big of a piece, so that's kind of a bummer. So this fabric is for, I am doing Hands-On Designs Polar Plunge pieces. So there's the polar bear, the whale, the walrus, the penguins, and the puffins, and the narwhal is going to be released, and I'll be getting that. It's a PDF on their website. And then I also got the backers for it by Chantel, and I'm probably going to put fabric on my backers, Mod Podge fabric onto it. But I got in my I got this almost finished. I was missing one color and it finally came in. So here's where I'm at. I just need to do there's another darker tealy color that goes along here next to him. And I finally got that color in. So I'll put that in and then he's finished and I can move on to the next one. Those ones stitch up really fast and they're beautiful. So if you're debating on whether to get it, I say go for it. They're so pretty. And I'm planning on, when I finish mine, I'm gonna finish them on those backers, but then I'm gonna attach the backers and make it into a banner that'll hang from my mantle and be on display for the month of January when I do my winter displays. Oh, we're getting down there. I only have 4 left. All right, so next one. This one, I was messaged. My birthday is May 8th, and my friend Shelly, and she has, it's Only Stitching is her floss tube, and she said, you know what, my birthday is the same day as yours, and I was surprised because I've never had anyone have the exact same day. I've had people that had it the day after, the day before, a couple days before, but never the same day. And so she said, we should do a stitch along since it's our birthday together. So although I was really busy, of course we make time for friends anytime. So we decided we were gonna do Let's Go Ride a Bike by Stitching with the Housewives. The strawberry, it's called Berry Patch. Let's Go Ride a Bike, Berry Patch. And she's already finished hers. And I told her last weekend, I said, I'm sorry I failed you. I've only gotten a little start on it, but I promise I'll finish it. And so here's my start. But it is a birthday start, and I should finish it this month. And I have a really great way to finish it. I can't wait to share with you. I bought the piece last year when I got the sunflower one, and I never finished the sunflower one. I never started it. But this particular piece will be able to switch out every bicycle pattern there is. So here's my start. So I got the basket that goes on the bicycle and 2 of the 3 strawberries, because there's 3 strawberries all together on that basket. So I got that done that evening on our birthday start. And that's 14 count black Aida. I love stitching on black, but it is a challenge, and so I do all my black pieces on Aida. I tried to do an even weave black, and that was just too hard. So I mostly only do Aida when I use black stitching. So there's that. And then next up is I've been working on Snow Village by, sorry, I have all the patterns in here. I might as well look. By Country Cottage Needleworks. I had to make sure because Sometimes I call them Little House Needleworks. I'm sure everybody makes the same mistake, but. So this one is in my 2-day rotation, and I am stitching it on Cornflower Blue, Cornflower Blue, sorry. It's called, let me get the exact one. It is Fiber on a Whim Cornflower, and it's 28 count linen. That's what it is. And I have completed the center block. And I was so excited to finish that because, yes, because all that snow takes a long time to stitch it all. But I have finished it. And that's the largest block. The rest of them are small. So my hope is that as I go on to the next pieces, that each block I can finish in my 2-day rotation. I know it might be big wishes, but we can see, we can try, right? We all can make goals, and we can either meet those goals or make new goals. I'm choosing to try to meet that goal. We'll see what happens. I definitely have a lot more time in my summer break to stitch, so I'm gonna try to break my day up between stitching, and I've recently started trying quilting, so I'm gonna try to do a little bit of both each day, that I'm not doing something, some event with my family. All right, 2 more to go. All right, next up is, I'm doing another sow. I think I got sow sad because I literally was down to just the 2 sows, and then when a friend of mine was like, oh, I have that pattern, and our other friend, I have that pattern, I'm like, ooh, sounds like a stitch along. And so it is. So, Little House Needleworks Old Glory. I love this pattern. It's a really quick stitch. So I am stitching it. This is a mystery linen, but the fabric color is like a blue cloudy day, I think. That's what it reminds me of. And this is it. And I'm hoping, here's the top. I think all I have above the flag is a little border. So I'm hoping that maybe I can stitch 2 out of this. I can scrunch another one in, we'll see. But that's my progress so far. We started it last Thursday. So I did Thursday night stitching on it, and I'll work some more on it this week. I'm hoping that by Thursday of this week I can take mine finished and show them. We'll see. We'll see. Got some stuff to get done, so we'll see. And then I have one more, and this one is, this is my, I don't know if you're participating in Colorado Cross Stitchers camp, but she does cross stitch camp every summer. I've done it every summer. This is the 3rd year, and she has a different challenge for June, July, and August. And this month's challenge is stitch something with a bird. And I had purchased this at a virtual retreat from Acorns and Threads, and so when they did a tour of their store, I ended up picking all the exclusives to their store because I knew I wouldn't be able to get them. And one of their exclusives was Jeanette Douglas's Chubby Bird. I know it's been released since then. I think that the one that's released looks exactly the same, except it doesn't have the year or say Acorns and Threads. I probably won't put that in it, but when I ordered it, I got that. I got the finishing kit, and I got the little tart pan too. And so yesterday was Stitch from Stash. Stitcher Stash, I think. Stitcher Stash, I think, is the group on Facebook. Jessica Provitt, Sweetwater Stitcher. I don't want to say her name wrong. Sweetwater Stitcher Jessica and Alicia from the Fanciful Flamingo are doing a 6x6. You stitch on 6 pieces. You could do new starts, you could do whips, you could do a combination, but you do an hour on each, or you pick one and stitch 6 hours on it over the weekend. So since I'm doing Colorado Cross Stitcher, yesterday I worked on this one and I was able to get the bird finished. So all I have now is the little branch, and then he'll be finished. So that's a very quick stitch, and I'm stitching on 18 count, and it's like a antique white, I think, Ada. So I want to fit into that tart pan, and all my other flat fabrics would have been too big. So those are my WIPs. So what do I have next? So I'm going to talk about my giveaways, because then I do want to tell you my what I've been up to if you're interested. But if you're not, after my giveaways, if you need to leave, I understand. If you need to leave and come back, that's great too. But if you're curious about what I've been up to, I will be inserting a couple video clips. I tried to cut them very short so they wouldn't be too lengthy, but I do have a little talking that I'd like to do with you afterwards. So let's go through the giveaways. Let me grab them. So first off, I want to apologize to Gina Klein. I'm going to show you her name. I don't want to show the address. She had won this chart for me last time, and I had called her name, and she was so sweet. She messaged me like May 1st to claim it. And I got so busy with everything I was doing, I didn't get it out in the mail to her. I have her address. I have it ready for her. I just need to put it in an envelope, take it. So I'm taking it to the post office tomorrow. I already emailed an apology to her. But the other person never claimed theirs. So that person was for Beggar's Fourth, which is this one. I've stitched it. It should be out next month. You'll see my finish. And the winner of that was Paula Arthur. So Paula, this is my second time sharing it. It's been a whole month. Hopefully you're catching up on Flosstube like I am. But if you don't claim it before my next Flosstube, I'm going to redraw and pick another friend to pass this on to. So again, that was Paula Arthur. All right, so last time I had 3 giveaways. The first one was Charming Gardens. This was a pattern that was given to me. The designer is Rebecca Marsh. This was given to me from one of my friends at my Stitchy group, and it was this pattern, and I said the keyword was wheelbarrow, and the winner of this one is Paula Beeman. So Paula, congratulations. If you just email me, my email is in the description box below. And just so you know, Paula, and anyone else who is claiming a giveaway for me, I have an 8 at the end of my name. So be careful. People have messaged me without the 8, and then I've never received their email. So Paula, if you will email me and give me your mailing address, I will get that out to you. Congratulations, Paula. All right, next up. This was also donated from someone in my stitching group. This one was the Stitching Season Spring, and she stitched it, finished it, and said I could pass it on. And so the keyword was blooming, and the winner of this one is Bonnie Sheffer. Bonnie Sheffer. Congratulations, Bonnies. Please email me your information. I'll get it out to you. And the last one was this book. It is called Cross Stitch Cards. There's 100 greeting cards by Joanne Sanderson. Super cute book, really cute designs in it, and that you can make cards with. You can make pillows. You could probably take motifs and put them on anything. You can make scissor fobs, whatever you want. Anyways, the keyword for this was greetings, and the winner of this book is Debbie Sisk. Congratulations, Debbie. You know what, Debbie, I'm going to get it out to you, but if I see you on Tuesday stitching to get together, I'll let you know then if you don't see this before. So congratulations, Debbie. All right, so what does that mean? The only other information I have before you should go on your way, if you don't want to hear what I've been up to, is if you're in my swap group, swaps were supposed to be mailed out on the 1st of this month in June, and they were bee themed. It was called the Buzz and Bee swap. And hopefully by my next Flosstube, I will be able to share the video of all the beautiful work. I've been collecting the pictures from people as they've been sending them out. And as soon as I hear from the recipients that they received them, then I will be able to share our swaps with you. They're gorgeous, and this swap was the largest group I've done so far. There were 16 participants, so we're gonna have a lot of stitchy goodness to see as soon as everybody's received them. So if you haven't mailed yours out yet, please get it out. If there's some kind of delay, like if your world's crazy like mine's been, please message me and let me know what's going on so I can let your partner know, and then that way they're not waiting by the mailbox for their swap and feeling disappointed every day. At least they'll know there's a delay. And other than that, I want if you're leaving now, just remember to be confident, be courageous, be creative, and be kind. And I should be back a lot sooner because I'd like to do when I'm going to StitchCon B. And so that's in a week and a half. I'd like to come to you before then so that when I come to you after, it won't be such a long video. So if you're off to go on to a new Flosstube or get busy in your day, bye. Thank you for coming. If you loved what you saw, please like this video, subscribe if you're not a subscriber, and I will see you very soon since I am on summer break. So if you're off, I'll see you later. Bye-bye. If you're still here, I'm gonna go through some things that were going through my mind this last month, okay? So first off, we had open house. An open house landed on the same night as my daughter's Willy Wonka. My daughters, one of them is an actress in the drama on the drama theater group, and then the other one is the stage crew person. And they're twins, so if you didn't know. And so Cassandra's our actress, Marissa's the stage crew. So they had to put on Willy Wonka, and they'd been practicing for four to 5 months ahead of time. And Cassandra had 3 parts. She had several at the beginning, but I think the teacher kept forgetting who she assigned parts to. And so she went down to 1 and then went back up again. At the last minute, she had 3 parts. So she was a Oompa Loompa. That was her main part, and that part came in and out throughout the entire play. And then she was a squirrel in the nut room, and then she was one of the little kids one of the candy kids that when the candy man comes and sings, they're a part of that. So she had such a great time. She made some really wonderful friends. She learned how to change multiple changes throughout the play, and she just had a great time. And then her sister, they constructed this huge bed to put on stage, and it was a bed on wheels, and it was kind of slanted up at the top so they could have all the 4 characters, all the grandparents sitting on there so everyone could see them. But that bed's heavy. They built it, and you had to wheel it out and not go off the stage into the orchestra because they were there. And you had to pull it back. So that was her job, and she was in charge of that. And then she was in charge of setting up a little sitting area for Augustus Gloop. So she had to do that. She thought it was a lot of fun. She got to learn all the workings of when you do stage changes, what you can help with, what you can, she got to sing in the background to help make some of the songs sound stronger. So she did a really good job with it. She used to be somebody who liked to be out in the spotlight, and over the years she's changed, and now she doesn't like a lot of attention put on her. So the backstage was perfect for her. She also created some of the sets, and that was my daughter, Marissa. So that happened while we were having open house. I couldn't go to opening night, but I did go to the rest of them. They were amazing. Open house was beautiful. Our theme was spring, and our author spotlight was Eric Carle. So a lot of our projects were Eric Carle themed projects. So I made a lot of projects in our classroom. The kids had a great time. I'm going to share a video clip when I'm done chatting with you. You can see my classroom and what it looked like. Parents were very much amazed, and my students were so proud. So I will include open house right here. Wasn't it beautiful? I'm so proud of them. They did such a good job. My favorite thing was the little cloud. They got to use some paint between two papers. So you put some white paint blobs on one side of the paper, and then you fold it in half and you smush it, and then you open it up. And I told the kids, look at it this way, and if you can't figure out what it might look like if you were staring at a cloud and it had a shape, turn it upside down and try. And so each one of them did the exact same directions, and yet each one of them came out with something different. And it was amazing because whatever they saw, they wrote down, and then I could see when I looked at it and then I looked at what they said, I was like, oh, it really does look like that. So that was one of my favorite projects that we did. Not to mention the best part of me. The kids love being able to share what's the best part of them, and I got to take pictures of them and then share that, and the families really loved what they said. So that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. And so next up was, after all of that, I had my big birthday coming up, and I knew my birthday was coming up, and I was dreading it. I've never dreaded my birthday before in my life. When I turned 30, nope, that was the best birthday ever. When I turned 40, nope, I was so happy. And I've never celebrated my birthday. To be honest, I grew up with with one brother and 3 cousins, and all of them are boys. And one of my cousins, one of my younger cousins, his birthday is the day after mine. And so growing up, my mom and dad, well, they were divorced. I lived with my mom. She wasn't a very pleasant person, and so I spent a lot of time at my grandmother's. So my grandmother kind of mothered me more than my own mom did, but nobody ever threw birthday parties for us. I don't know if we didn't have the money. I'm not sure if my mom wasn't interested. She just didn't do things like that for us. So if my grandma had us, what she would do is over the weekend, she would cook barbecue, and it'd be simply hot dogs or hamburgers, something cheap. And we would have vegetables and fruits from their garden, and she would go buy a cake that was already made. It wasn't ordered. She just had them add my name and my cousin's name on it. And years I asked, can I please, 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 please have a cake that's pink with pretty flowers on it? And she said, no, because your cousin, he would not like that. We need to get just a regular cake. So I never got to choose what I wanted, and my cousin's favorite was chocolate, and all the other boys liked chocolate. So my grandma always got chocolate. I think she liked chocolate too. So I didn't even get, and I'm not a big chocolate fan. So it was never, we didn't have a party. It was just, that was it. My grandma sang to us, which was wonderful. She always had a special gift for each one of us, and that was my whole party. But otherwise, I never had a birthday party. So this year, behind the scenes, didn't know it was happening, but my Stitchy group talked to my husband, and they worked out a way to do a surprise birthday party for me. And it was funny because we had just finished the plays, and I was so wiped out that I had told my husband, you know what, Sunday, we have nothing going on until next week, because that was Mother's Day. So I said, so for Sunday, I am not getting dressed. I'm gonna lay around the house and veg out and do nothing. And so I did, and I took a nap, and about 3:30 I wake up and I tell my husband, oh, have you thought about what we're doing for dinner? And he was like, oh, that reminds me, I have something to tell you. He said, I'm gonna take you out to this place. It's a sandwich place. I wanna take you there for dinner because they're closed on Mondays, and Monday was gonna be my birthday. And he goes, and I really wanna take you there. And the thing is in our family, in my immediate family, what we do, whoever's birthday it is, they get to choose a restaurant, and then we all go out to eat and celebrate them there. And so he was like, I found this really great sandwich place. I want to take you there. They're closed on Mondays, so we're gonna take you now. I know you didn't want to get dressed, but go get dressed, get ready, because we're gonna take you. And so on my way back, I went to go get dressed. I started my shower, and I hear my kids taking showers. And let me tell you, when you have teenagers, I don't know about your teenagers, but I have 5 kids, and there's still 3 here at home. And every single one of them, when they hit like middle schoolish, for some reason, taking showers is not something they want to do. I don't know why. Or combing their hair and getting all the knots out. I don't know why. I know for a fact I was not like that when I was growing up. But these kids and my 2 adult children, they were that way too. So they were going to get showered, and I thought that was interesting. Oh, they're gonna get cleaned up for me, how sweet. So we get in the car, and my husband decided to take the back route because there's so many ways you can get to Temecula. He said it was in Temecula. So we're driving along, and we get to the main road that goes into Temecula, and my husband says, I said, oh, this is the way I went when we went to our retreat. And our retreat last year was in Temecula's wine country, and you have to cross over the main road, and then you go into the back country area where all the vineyards are. And he said, oh yeah, doesn't your friend Gina live over here? And I said, yeah, she does. I said, you can go down the main street, or you can go the back way. And he goes, well, I've never been through the vineyards during the day. I've only seen them at night, so there's not much to see until you see their lights. And he goes, why don't we go that way? It'll still get us to where we're going, and you could show me where your friend lives. So I'm like, all right. So we traveled down the road, and then I said, I think it's this road. No, it's the next one. Then we turned down the road, and I'm like, oh no, this is not it. And he's like, well, where does she live? You said she had a beautiful home. And I said, she does. She has a gorgeous home. And I said, but now I'm confused to where it is. So I looked at my phone, like my previous history of going to her house, found the street, and I pushed on the directions, and we went. And we got to her street, and there was like no cars on the street. And we pulled up, and I said, she lives in that house. Isn't it beautiful? I said, you should imagine what it looks like on the inside. It's gorgeous. And he goes, well, we're here. Why don't you go in and say hi? And I'm like, no, let's go to dinner. I'm hungry. And he's like, no, go say hi. I said, no, I can't go to someone's house when I'm unannounced. We don't like that when people come unannounced, because when you have kids, your house is wrecked half the time. So you won't have time to clean up before they get there. And I said, I don't want to do that to her. And he's like, just go. So I started getting anxiety, so much so that I was like crying, no, I can't. He's like, just go, just go. So they basically kicked me out the car. So I go up to the door, and I knock real quietly. And then my friend Gina opens the door. But you know how when someone's like in their jammies, so they kind of go to the side, and they're like, hello? And she was wearing like a pink t-shirt. and it looked like she might have been wearing sweats, but I couldn't tell because I only saw this part of her. So, and I didn't know. And I'm like, hi, Gina. I said, we were in the neighborhood. We're going to dinner. My husband wanted me to show him where you lived. And he said, go say hi. And I said, I'm really, really sorry that I'm coming unannounced. And she's like, that's okay, come on in. And she opens the door, and she wasn't in her pajamas. She opens her door, and then I hear this surprise, and it's all my stitchy friends right there. And they had decorated it in green's my favorite color. They had sunflowers everywhere, which is my favorite flower. And and my family came in afterwards. Like, they had it all planned out. So I was just thrown off, and I came home, I still do not feel worthy of that. It was so beautiful and so kind. So stitchy friends, if you're watching me, I love you so much, and you made my special day easier to live with. It was beautiful. So I got lots of stitchy goodness. I'll show you a couple of it. A couple of things that I got. My friend Arnett got me this beautiful, you can use as a scissor fob or a zipper pull. I've been using it as a zipper pull. But here it is. So cute. And then my friend Kimberly, she wasn't able to go to the party. So at our next stitchy night, she brought me these gifts. So she made me this cute little jar, and it was filled with like little Hershey's cubes, but we've eaten them since then. And she made me some counting pins, and she made the top with sunflowers. So I filled it up with some chocolate, dark chocolate Reese's peanut butter cups that my kids got me on Mother's Day. Oh, they're so good. I don't eat a lot of chocolate, like hardly ever, but my family has a habit of, if I have chocolate and I don't eat it, like say in a week, all of a sudden they say it's up for grabs. So my kids got me this, and the cubes that were in here are half gone because they ate them. So hopefully I can eat a few of these before they're gone. I just don't eat chocolate except for, or candy really, except for once in a great while I want a piece. And when I want it to be there, but it usually isn't. Anyways, she gave it to me in this really cute basket that she decorated. She had given me a handmade card. I couldn't find it for the video, but I do have it. I saved it. I never throw my cards away. She made me this little needle bling. It's so cute with the sunflower. I know everybody's making these right now. They're so cute. And so she made me one, and I love, love, love it. And I haven't decided what if I'm gonna use it as a zipper pull. I thought of that, or if I'm going to use it for floss, we'll see. And then she got me this cute little booklet, and it says, behind every successful woman is a substantial amount of chocolate. And for me, I like dark chocolate whenever I do eat it. And this little booklet is cute. It's like a little notepad inside. And it has the same saying on every little post-it inside. I just thought that was so cute. And then she gave me some sunflowers for finishing as well. So that was from Kimberly. And she also gave me this cute little sunflower decor for my tier tray. Love it. And then I got my friend Cheryl. She wanted to find me something that she knew I didn't have, and so she found this pattern because I've been talking about doing, a lot of us want to try one of the animal crackers patterns, and I haven't ordered mine yet. And then she was like, oh, she wants to do something like that. So she picked the sampler hair by Lottie Da and figured that I could do that. And I cannot wait to do that. It is so cute. And then she wanted to get me something to go with it. So she ordered this project bag that came with this little bag too. I'm gonna show you everything. Check it out. It's a vinyl front bag. So here's the bag. And look at the cute little zipper pull. It has a little bobbin on it. So cute. And then here's the back. And she said that way the bunnies go perfectly with the pattern. And then it comes with this little accessory case. And in the accessory case, so here's the case. Cute little bunnies. And it came with a pair of scissors and some floss for the pattern. So that was nice. So that's a great kit. It's all kitted up for me now. All I have to do is get out and stitch it. So she got me that. Thank you, Cheryl. That was a nice surprise. And then the girls got together and they each contributed to this. So my friend Michelle makes beautiful bags. I have several of hers now. And so she made me this one since sunflowers are my favorite. She's so talented. And then inside, and I love this, I'm keeping this tag. Look at it, it says happy birthday. Oh, I need to take my laminator out, laminate it, and then re-poke a hole so it'll be secure. I don't want anything to happen to it. And then inside, like all of them got together and got me and made a card and signed it. Little sweet messages. This card is made by my friend Michelle's sister, who is an artist. So that was, and it was a sunflower. How special is that? Not only do I have a piece of her sister's artwork, but it's a sunflower. And then they gave me the goodness inside. It's amazing. All right, so they gave me, first they gave me some different fabric to choose from. Oh, so lucky. I am so lucky. And then they gave me, now they know that I like sunflowers and crows, and there was 2 crow patterns that I recently really wanted. Ida Ray and Ida May, I think is what they're called. Ira and Ida, I'm not sure. Anyhow, by the Good Housewife. And somebody was selling them, and I went and we all like set our timer to go on there and buy them. But then they were going for $30, and I couldn't, I guess because I have a family, I couldn't see myself spending that much. So it would be $60 to have them both. And that didn't include fabric, that didn't include floss. I just couldn't bring my heart to do it. So I didn't buy them. I figured if they're ever meant to be, they'll make their way to me. So I was okay with that. It's okay. I have a lot of patterns to stitch. I'm okay with it. And maybe one day I'll run into somebody I can borrow theirs. It's okay. But then I opened up the project bag, and inside the project bag, and I'd never seen this one, is called 3 Crows by the Good Housewives. Look at that. Oh my gosh. And then if that's not enough, my face was beaming, then there's all these fancy flosses in there. There's silks. All the colors needed to do this project, along with the fabrics that they gave me. So I was like, I guess flabbergasted would be what it, I'm like, I couldn't believe it. Could not believe it. What a gift, what a treasure. And then look at the inside of this bag too. More sunflowers. I have the best stitchy friends ever, and I felt so special. I still can't believe I've been gifted such beautiful friends with big hearts and kindness. I feel so grateful to have people like that in my life. And I just hope they know how much I appreciate their love and kindness. But that really made my whole day. They also made homemade cupcakes for me from scratch. That was really amazing. They welcomed in my whole family. I don't know, it was amazing. I do have a couple more birthday goodies to show you. One of my subscribers, her name is Whitney, she's so sweet. I had talked about my birthday last year, and it always clashes with Mother's Day and my mother-in-law's birthday. Her birthday's the day after mine. And so most years since I've met my husband, if my birthday falls on Mother's Day, I'm usually forgotten because everybody's celebrating my mother-in-law, which they should. She's an amazing woman. And then if it's not, and it's not on Mother's Day, we're over there celebrating my mother-in-law's birthday, and then nobody remembers that it was just my birthday. Like they just forget, I don't know. And so my mother-in-law, a lot of times when they bring out a cake for her, she makes everybody sing happy birthday to me too. It's just something I've gotten used to. And when you have a cousin whose birthday is the day after yours, you get used to the fact that you're not the center of attention, and that's okay. You don't need to be. So Whitney had heard me say that last year, and she wrote me a gorgeous card. I'm not going to read it because it's very special. What she wrote inside just kind of brought tears to my eyes, so thank you, Whitney. And she and her 5-year-old went shopping for different floss colors, and they each picked out some colors for me, and I just thought it was so cute that her little one wanted to help pick out flosses for me. So I did message her right away. This is not late, thank you, but thank you, Whitney, anyways. I emailed her and let her know how much it meant to me, and I'm saying that again. Thank you, Whitney. So 50 years. So let me tell you a little bit. There's something I want to show you that my grandmother made for me, I guess a little bit over 50 years ago. So I am the only granddaughter, and so anything that was handmade, she would make things for me as I was growing up. And my cousins didn't get it because they were boys. She didn't. She would make them like change their shorts and sew them in, change their pants and sew them into shorts. She would, you know, take them for sporting equipment, all of that. But for me, she would hand make me things. And I just remember in first grade, we took pictures, and I wanted a special dress, and I remember that we went to the fabric store and she let me pick my fabric, and I picked like the ugliest fabric. It was like a white fabric with tiny little holes everywhere. I don't know, I guess that was the fabric print. And then the print that was on it was a bunch of different fruits, like pineapples and strawberries and grapes. I don't know why I wanted that, but she made me this beautiful like dress that went all the way to my ankles, and I wore it proudly for school pictures in first grade. But she did stuff like that. Well, when I became an adult, my grandmother, when I had my first child, she gifted me these, and they're very worn. My mom did not take care of things. She really didn't care about anything like that, especially if it was my things. So it was just thrown in a box. I took it out. I tried to clean it up best as possible, but this is aged and stained, like I am aged and stained. But this is also as old as I am because my grandmother made it for me when my mom was pregnant with me. So I'm going to show you. So she made me, this was my sheet set for my crib when I was born, and I was born in 73, so it was the 70s when yellows, oranges, and olive green was popular. In fact, my crib was olive green with like orange and yellow spindles. I don't know, it was ugly, but my grandmother made this to go with it because the colors matched, and it is Roadrunner and Coyote. So this is my pillowcase, and you can see there's some damage, but I'm so afraid because it is older, I'm afraid to put it in the wash. I don't want a chance that if I try to put it in the wash that I either lose the coloring in the floss that she embroidered it with, or it fall apart. I don't want that to happen. But she embroidered this for me, and then she embroidered the sheet, the bed sheet also. So, and again, worn, old, stained, just like me, but this is the sheet. Can you see that? So there's the Roadrunner, there's him running, there's his smoke from behind him, and the cactus, and then the coyote watching for him. Because you know that coyote's waiting to do some kind of trick that never works out, always fails. But she made that for me. So when I look at it and I think, wow, I'm 50, but so is this. That's a pretty old set of sheets. And what a special gift that I still have from my grandmother since she's not with me anymore. So there is that. And then I got curious about things from when I was born. So I was born May 8th, 1973, and it was a Tuesday. It was not a leap year. I'm considered part of Generation X. My Chinese zodiac is the ox, and my star sign, zodiac star sign, is the Taurus. And the music song that was popular that came out on my birthday was Tie a Yellow Ribbon Round the Old Oak Tree by Tony Orlando. And that song is special because my uncle was off He was a Coast Guard. He was in the Coast Guard. He was off for the war, and when he got to come home, I was his favorite thing he was looking forward to seeing. So that song got played a lot in our family, and we had some ribbons in our trees, my grandmother said, when we were little. I don't remember because I was just a baby, but my grandma said that they did tie all the trees around the house, the red, yellow ribbons around there until he came home. Then, what does my birthday mean to me? I don't know if you've ever looked these up or you'll find these interesting or not, but I did. It said that my birthday numbers, 5/8, 1973, revealed that my life path number is 6. I didn't know what a life path number was, but I looked it up too to find out. And it says it represents justice, nurturing, and responsibility. You possess great compassion and seek to be a service to others, which, as in my life, being a teacher, yeah, I really am. And being a mom of 5 kids, I really am. That's the kind of person I am. So then I looked up my life path number to find out what that meant. And it says, associated with a lot of love, affection, care, and humility. It says you're someone who likes to serve humanity for a more significant cause. You have a lot of empathy towards the ones who are weak and are suffering, and it gives you immense joy to help people. And I can say that that's absolutely true. I think I get more joy at Christmas time watching people open up gifts that I got them than I do opening gifts for myself. I love it. I love to see them get happy, and it makes me happy. And then it says, this was interesting. It said, what was your past life based on your life number? All right, so this is interesting too. It said, I don't know how you feel about this, but you were a male in your last earthly incarnation. You were born somewhere around the territory of Germany, approximately in 1575, and your profession was a teacher, mathematician, and a geologist, which I thought was interesting since I'm a teacher now too. And then it said, your brief psychological profile in the past life was inquisitive, inventive, liked to get to the very bottom of things and to rummage in books, talent for drama, and I was a natural born actor. And then it says lessons that I learned from my past life and brought to my new life is the world's full of ill and lonely people. You should help those who are less fortunate than you are. Now, I didn't say that I follow those kind of things, but some of those facts are kind of truthful about me. So whether that is something that something to believe in or not, it did describe my personality. So I thought that was rather interesting. I don't know if you've ever looked up about your birthday, but I also know that Lily of the Valley is my flower, emerald is my stone. I was born here in California, and I'm one of 2. I'm the oldest, and I have a younger brother who's 2 years younger than me. And that's all about me. Probably more than you wanted to know. Other than that, besides my birthday, we had the end of the year events. My kindergartners sang Count on Me. They sang One Small Voice and ABC Later. If you don't know those songs, you can Google them and you'll find them. One Small Voice is beautiful. Jack Hartman sings it, and we taught them the sign language for it, and it was beautiful. Then we had Senior Walk, and I want to close with Senior Walk because my students came to visit me, and they were former 2nd graders, and the year that these students came to me was a combo class. So the ones that came back was a very small amount because half the class were 1st grade and half were 2nd. So the other half will come see me next year, I hope. But the ones that came back, I got to see 4 girls, and 1 boy was there, but he never made it in from the parking lot. I don't know what happened. I don't know if he thought I wasn't there anymore because I was in kindergarten and he didn't see me, but they did tell him that I was there. But I got to see the 4 girls. I got to take pictures with them. They were all very special to me. One was, I've taught 4 of the 6 kids in her family, and so one of them was her. One was a girl that was in a foster care when she came to me. Her mom, I had taught her brother, and her mom, who was gonna foster care her, asked if I would be willing to take her. My class was full, it was a combo, and it was very full. And so the principal said it was up to me to decide if I wanted to add to my plate or not. and they were a great family, so I did. And her name was Sandy. And then over the summer after I had her, her parents applied to adopt her. And the third day of the next school year, she asked me to stand up in court as her witness and witness her adoption. And so I did. And now her name is Cassandra, and she's gorgeous and beautiful. And that will always be a special memory that I got to stand up for her. So those two girls have like really deep connection to me. And then another one was one of my really difficult students. And I just worked really hard with her that year, and she came back and she said she specifically came back to see me and thank me because even though she was difficult, I loved her and she felt it, and she still feels it, and she wanted me to know it before she moves on to her adult life. And so she told me about the college plans she has, and I was super touched to see her. And the other one, I've gotten to watch her grow because her mom works at our school occasionally, so I've got to see her grow. So she said she just loved being a part of my classroom environment, that I always made learning fun. So I just want you to know, if you have a young child, if your schools do senior walks where they get to go back to their elementary school and see their former teachers and their place where they got to learn and play, they should do it, because as a teacher, when your kid comes back and sees you and you know that you meant something to them, it means a lot to us. So I was really pleased to see that. So in closing, I'm going to send a little short video of everything I've been doing. There was a lot of things that happened. I listed it at the beginning, but this is like a little picture montage. It's about 1.5 minutes long if you want to watch it. And if you've stuck around all this time, thank you so much. I will be back next time, and I promise it won't be so long. I hope that if you're starting your school year or your summer break, I hope you're going to have a wonderful summer. If you haven't, it's almost here. I'll keep my fingers crossed it goes fast. And until next time, I'll see you later. Bye.